All right, testing. Is this thing on? Is YouTube working? Do we have you guys live? I'm not sure because YouTube apparently crashed. The entire site crashed for a period of time. We were trying to figure out whether we were going to be able to even go live tonight or where we would be going live to, or if you all would be able to see us or hear us. Can you all hear me? Can you all see me? Please confirm in the comment section if you would be so kind. Because again, sometimes circumstances get beyond our control. Sometimes we're just late. Sometimes it is, in fact, any time with Buck Rising. But tonight we were generally concerned about the state of the platform, and it seems, based on your guys' live interaction, that we are alive, we are well, we are live streamed, and we are happy. Okay, very good. We are sorry for the delay. But we are now here with you, and we are ready to talk about the revenge game, the grudge match that is coming for the Tennessee Titans that will take place at Nissan Stadium. Dre Wilson already submitting himself to defeat. We're going to lose, he says on YouTube. I mean, probably, but there's a couple of different elements of this thing that I think are worth talking about. Obviously, tomorrow night we'll do keys to success, but tonight is going to be, and I know you guys are tired of it. At least some of you are tired of it. Some of you can't get enough of it based on the interaction. But we're going to talk about Mike Vrabel tonight. He met with Titans media via Zoom. He's spoken about this. Players in the locker room are being asked about this. Cam Ward obviously has no connection to it. And most of the players that have connections to this situation that were here with Mike when he was in Tennessee, half of them are up in New England with him now, as well as the vast majority of the coaching staff. So it's really more a Patriots story coming to Nashville than it is a Titans story asking people here, because the people who are involved, who are still involved, the people who are responsible for making the mistake of firing Mike Vrabel, don't speak. Amy Adams Strunk is nowhere to be found. She's more of an idea than a real person at this time, even though I understand that she's a real person. She just in a very real way fired somebody again and all of these different things. But with the situation coming up on Sunday, it is worth talking about. I've done a million different interviews at this point. I was on with Mike Giardi of the Boston Sports Journal, his podcast. I did Stugatz's podcast in South Florida. And literally, and I'm Austin, don't get mad at me here because I'm just quoting Stugatz. But the opening question was, well, I suppose I can bleep it. What is going on in Tennessee? That was how the interview started. Now, Stugatz did not censor himself. I suppose I can for the purposes of this broadcast and keep things somewhat professional. But I don't normally do outside interviews because I'm talking in a million different places and I don't feel like doing people's podcasts. And I appreciate Titans fans who reach out about doing podcasts and things like that. But I don't know. I feel overexposed already for as much as I'm talking on a regular basis. So I'm more selective about the stuff that I do. But this is a big week. This is a huge week. This is the all toxic game coming to Nissan Stadium on Sunday afternoon. And it is going to be a situation where this is going to be talked about more in terms of Mike Vrabel, when in reality, it's mostly about the fact that Mike Vrabel's got a quarterback that looks, I mean, I don't know, Robert, would you argue that Drake May is top 6 in the league right now, just based on the efficiency, some of the metrics that he's performing by? He looks really, I mean, understanding that Lamar is hurt and there's a couple of, Joe Burrow is not currently playing professional football, having surgery. There's not a lot of players who are playing better football than Drake May is right now. It's really a story about Drake May and how much better he's made the Patriots, as opposed to what's happened with the idea of Mike Vrabel coming to town. But obviously, Mike Vrabel is an above-average coach, and we understand that the relationship between him and the organization is toxic, and that Amy Adams Strunk hates Mike Vrabel, and Mike Vrabel hates Amy Adams Strunk, and Bert Nihil hates Mike Vrabel, and Mike Vrabel hates Bert Nihil, and all these different things. Bert says that Drake May is 5th in passing, tied for 9th in passing touchdowns. So let's just say objectively a top 10 quarterback, Drake May, in year 2. Again, super efficient at this point in time. Patriots have their flaws. Their running game is ridiculously bad. Ramondre Stevenson, when he's not fumbling, he appears terrified of fumbling, and it's affecting the way that he runs. They're not a perfect football team. They're not an unbeatable football team by any stretch of the imagination. But that dude right there is coming back here to shove it up everybody's asses because he's vindictive. That's who he's been the entire time. And on the whole, yeah, it ended badly. Yeah, he lost a bunch of games at the end, but he had you and me out there starting on the offensive line for him, and he was still able to win 6 games. God knows Brian Callahan couldn't sniff 6 games. The man won more games in preseason than he did in the regular season, which is crazy. So this is a circumstance where it's not really Mike Vrabel versus the Titans. It's not even the Patriots versus the Titans. It's Mike Vrabel versus ownership on Sunday. He's coming back here to, as Mike Giardi put it on his podcast that we did yesterday, coming back here to shake his ass at ownership and try and run up the score. So the question becomes, and frankly, I'm curious how many Titans fans are dealing with a degree of self-loathing. I think the vast majority of Titans fans want to see their team win. And the best case scenario for the vast majority of you is that the Tennessee Titans go out there and beat the New England Patriots. Do the thing that not a single person is going to pick them to do. Not a single person is going to expect them to do. If you find me one person anywhere in the landscape that picks the Tennessee, that's not, a blog boy fan type shit, that picks the Tennessee Titans to beat the New England Patriots, so like a serious person who watches football and is not blinded by fandom that way, who picks the Tennessee Titans to beat the New England Patriots on Sunday, I'd be stunned. I'm happy to be proven wrong. Sure as shit, I wouldn't do it. So as we talk about this game, this grudge match type of situation, what is the feeling of the fan base right now, which is where I defer to you on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch in the comments section. We are going to talk about this together. And the question that we are going to start off with tonight on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, as I mentioned, it seems like a dumb question. I'm sure on Twitter it's going to get a lot of heat, but I'm genuinely curious from those of you who are live streaming with us tonight and those of you who may watch this broadcast after the fact, are you rooting for or against Mike Vrabel on Sunday? I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what the answer from you all is going to be. I feel like there's 3 contingents of Titans fans when it comes to Mike Vrabel. There are those who thought he should be fired and those who think he's overrated. There are those who think that he should have been fired, but now regret the decision to fire Mike Vrabel. So they felt one way at the time, and now they feel a different way because it's been awful, and it's easy to look back at what you had and say, well, yeah, but it was better than this, my God. And then there's those who never thought Mike Vrabel should be fired in the first place. So I'm curious. I don't know where everybody falls on this. So I'm curious to see how you guys feel about it. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, because I think it's going to be pretty split. Who are you rooting for on Sunday? Or rather, are you rooting for or against Mike Vrabel? Let me know in the comment section. And as honest as you're, be honest. Like there may be a part of you that doesn't like that you want to see him come back here and win. There may be a part of you that says, no, bleep that guy. Like he lost a bunch of games at the end. He's not as great as everybody thinks that he is. And the only difference between him now and him then is he's got a quarterback that's better than Ryan Tannehill. And that's going to help him win a lot more games. They're currently in first place in the AFC East. Buffalo lost to the Falcons this past Monday night. And so now that puts the Patriots, by nature of beating Buffalo in Buffalo, because of course Mike Vrabel did, that puts the Patriots in first place. Now the season's not even halfway through, and this could go a couple of different ways. I've seen Mike Vrabel start 7-3 and lose 7 straight. So I'm not ignorant to the idea that this man is not flawless by any stretch of the imagination, but he does have a pretty decent weapon at his disposal in Drake May that's making things a lot easier on him to come out swinging in his first year. So genuinely, the question, your Two Rivers 4 take, are you rooting for or against Mike Vrabel on Sunday? I don't know how the reaction is going to be, but I'm curious to go through your answers here in just a second, right after I remind you that the South's most trusted Ford dealer is Two Rivers Ford. Quality American-made Ford vehicles and award-winning customer service is what is on offer. You go to Two Rivers Ford, you get in the car buying experience, or you get to participate in the car buying experience that is unlike any other because it's fast, it's easy, it's more fun, and you feel no pressure on you throughout the course of that car buying experience because their sales staff does not work on commission. Go to Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com for more details. Okay, let's just take a browse through some of your comments and see what you guys have to say. Are you rooting for or against Mike Vrabel? I've got 4 for Mr. Jones, against Mike Bell, 4. I miss Daddy Vraves, says Campbell. It's Burner. I'm sure that's going to get clipped on the internet. Jaden, go Vrabel. Major Keys, 4. Weed Smoker says F Vrabel. Mike Bell says, I know the reality of the situation, even though he's rooting against Mike Vrabel. Against. I'll have my popcorn ready. That's neither for nor against. Against, of course. I'm rooting for him to drop 60, says Thomas Bryan. So, I mean, honestly, it seems pretty split at this point. Matt Stanley says, I have more animosity towards A.J. Brown than I do Vrabel, but rooting against Vrabel. Ann Herndon says she made her wife stop wearing vests because of Mike Vrabel. Rooting for the Titans. I don't care about the revenge stuff. Vrabel was right about Rand, wasn't he, says Benjamin Buck. Listen, there's so much revisionist history that's going to be talked about and discussed and all these different things over the course of the next couple of days. But when you look at all the different things that are going on here, the Patriots can be beaten. The question is, are the Titans going to be the team to beat them? And it just feels like there's an avalanche of evidence that says, no, under no circumstances are the Tennessee Titans going out there to take down Mike Vrabel just because they fired Brian Callahan, and they're getting a bump all of a sudden. Now, Josh Sabata, CJ says Titans fans just boycott this game. It is a guaranteed loss. I mean, it may well be, right? The Titans, well, not the players and not the coaches, but the ownership is treating it like it's a guaranteed loss. Mike Vrabel already won. You know what I'm saying? Nobody looks better than he does because of what a shit show the Tennessee Titans are. And it's not just because he could look better. Let me rephrase. Even if he wasn't 4-2, won as many games as Brian Callahan did here in 23 through his first 6, probably should have beaten the Raiders if you boil down to it. He could have been, he could have been under 500 as a Patriots coach and still looked better because the Titans look like such a shit show. It's such a ridiculous circumstance that they have brought unto themselves that he gets to be right even before they play this game because they, in a proactive move, I guess, fired Brian Callahan before Mike Vrabel could beat his ass down. It's a situation where you look at Mike Vrabel and it looks like a reactionary move because of Mike Vrabel before Mike Vrabel has even come here and beaten them. They look scared of him already. As an organization, I don't think Jeff Simmons is scared of shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that Mike McCoy is treating this as anything special because Mike McCoy wasn't here for all of this. But they look like, as an organization, as a franchise, as an ownership group, they look chicken shit because they fired their coach before their former coach could even get here to theoretically beat them. They, in their heads, think they're going to lose anyway, which is an insane way to operate. How does he still have that much power over you if you're an NFL owner? I mean, how incredibly weak-minded could you be? It is something that I don't think the results are guaranteed. Like, as Ann Herndon points out, Mike Vrabel's Titans won games that they had no business winning and lost games that they absolutely should have been able to handle with ease. And that was kind of the story of him here. Now, there's reason to believe that he's better the second time around. There's also reason to believe that he's got a better quarterback. So now he's not handicapped quite by a Ryan Tannehill ceiling that would keep him from being able to achieve at a higher level, right? Because that was the whole thing. If you had a higher caliber quarterback on those Titans teams, they probably, I don't know if they win the Super Bowl, but I bet they could have gotten there with the team that they had. The quarterback obviously had his limitations. He was good enough to get them to a point, but not to their ultimate goal, as evidenced by the 2021 playoff game against the Bengals. We don't need to relitigate all of that. So now he's got a better quarterback, and he has the experience of where things might have went right, might have went wrong here. But if I was him, I would think that everything that I was doing before I was fired is probably the thing that I should have been doing, because look at them now. I don't know how this is going to go, but I know that the Titans are acting like the results are predetermined. And listen, America, the football consuming America, is acting like the results are predetermined. I can't wrap my head around having such a frail mindset. If you're running an NFL football program, that the guy that you fired still is in your head that way. It's pathetic. It really is pathetic. So he's coming in here to whip their asses. And for or against, obviously, I don't root for, I don't root against. I do root for individuals. Like, I want to see Derrick Henry have great success. I want to see A.J. Brown have great success. I want to see Mike Vrabel have great success. I want to see Brian Callahan have great success. I don't root against people that are good and just trying to do their jobs, even if they're bad, even if they end up being bad at their jobs. Like, as long as you're not the worst, like, I want to see you do well. I want to see all of you, as long as you're not, dickheads. Those of you in the chat, I want to see all of you do well in whatever it is that you aspire to do. Like, I'm rooting for people as opposed to teams. I don't root for or against teams, but I do root for people. I don't know Amy Adams Strunk. I've been around for 10 years. There have been superficial high and by type conversations. We acknowledge the media and Amy. We acknowledge each other's existence, but there's not really any dialogue there. So I have no idea who Amy Adams Strunk is. I know who that man is, though. That was Mike Mularkey was the first coach that I covered, but obviously I spent the vast majority of my career covering Mike Vrabel. I want Mike Vrabel to have success. Do I want it? Casey Jones says, Buck, you obviously want Vrabel to win this game so you can laugh about it on the radio and people will be pissed and you'll have good callers. No, honestly, I think, and you can believe me or you can not, I think the best case scenario for me is that you win. Because that would be the objectively funniest outcome, right? That the Titans do literally the thing that nobody expects them to do. Now, they don't do that anymore. That's not in the franchise's DNA anymore. It was when Vrabel was here. But, like, I think the best case scenario for the radio show, like, I root for what makes my shows, what gives me the most compelling content. And I don't think Mike Vrabel coming in here and just dog walking you helps me. I think that for the purposes of content, I think the best case scenario is that you win. So, like I said, I very much enjoy Mike. I've obviously talked to him a great deal this week leading up. I'm looking forward to seeing him and Harold Land. Well, Harold may not play in the game. I'm not sure. But like all of these people that I spent the last 6 years around that are now in New England, as opposed to Ryan Cowden. I don't have a relationship necessarily with Todd Downing, but Terrell Williams, obviously he's not with the team right now. He's dealing with prostate cancer. But like, these are all people that I know and who I've very much enjoyed. I'd say working with, but like covering is the proper way to talk about it. Like all of these things can be true. And then you can separate the personal and professional. So I'm genuinely curious to see what happens, but I can also objectively look at the Titans organization and think they're pathetic for firing their coach before Mike Vrabel even comes to town. Like that's not rooting for or against a person. That's just objectively piss poor. Like you are sad. You are a clown for doing this in this particular situation. And he didn't even have to do anything. You didn't even have to lift a finger. You just let him have that win over you before he even gets here. So I know I've repeated that several times. The question was, do you root for or against Mike Vrabel on Sunday? I don't know. What I do know is I'm not going to Mike McCoy's press conference afterwards, regardless of what happens. I'm going to go to Mike Vrabel's press conference after the game, win or lose. Like that's no result predetermines that. Mike McCoy, with all due respect, it doesn't matter to me. The bigger Titan story is Vrabel, right? And I will go with the bigger story, because it would be a huge story if he loses. I would like to ask him questions if he loses. I would also like to ask him questions if he wins. I don't think he's going to answer them one way or the other in any kind of particular way that would be antagonistic or combative as far as the organization goes. But it is a compelling story, right? He's already been asked about this in the Boston media, and he's talked about the idea of it being interesting versus important, and this being way more interesting than it is important. But it's important to him. It's important to him. And so the question on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, are you rooting for or against Mike Vrabel? Obviously, there are still some players in the locker room who played for Mike Vrabel. Jeff Simmons was asked today about the idea of Mike Vrabel coming in here with the desire to run up the score, and Jeff had an awesome response. We're going to play that for you here in just a second. By the way, I've said this a couple of times on the radio. I don't know if I've said it on primetime. I'm impressed as hell with Jeff Simmons this year, not just as a player, but as a person. I really think that Jeffrey has taken a lot of this, the tough lessons that he's had to learn over the course of the last couple of years. I really think he's taken them to heart. And I think he's about as good of a representation of leadership as this team could possibly have right now, understanding the circumstances that are in. And you guys know me. Like, I don't gaslight players for no reason. I think Jeff is genuinely handling the role so much better than he has in years past. And I think that the clip that we're getting ready to play for you is an example of exactly why. But I'll tell you first about Simon Says Nashville. Simon says Mike Vrabel's coming to town, but Simon says also that you need to dress better. You can look your best, feel your best as a result at SimonSaysNashville.com, the top clothing spot for men in Middle Tennessee. I would argue anywhere, because you'll find stuff from all over the world in Simon Says. Conveniently located at Wedgwood, Houston, or in Wedgwood, Houston, that neighborhood just south of downtown Nashville. I've been planning to go for weeks at this point. I haven't got the opportunity to do so because I've been on the road for the last 3 weeks. I have made it. I have put it in my calendar that on Saturday I am going, because I need new clothes, to Simon Says Nashville, and I cannot wait because they always have all kind of cool stuff, and I love the way that I love the way that I look in Simon Says clothes. SimonSaysNashville.com for more details. You will also love the way that you look when you go visit Simon Says. All right. So Jeff Simmons was asked about Mike Vrabel coming in here to run up the score. Jeff, rockstar response.
I don't really care about none of that. My job is, I know his mindset coming into his game. I know probably what he's telling his team right now, but at the end of the day, we got to make it a fight. We know that his guys are going to fight. They're going to fight for him. May try to help him, do a little extra, maybe get a win for him. But at the end of the day, it's our job to go in there with a mindset that we won't let it happen. I know our relationship off the field, but I could give two, it's not curse, but I could care less about the relationship when it comes down to Sunday. My job is to go out there and play football and help the Tennessee Titans get a win.
What's he telling them? What's he telling them?
BK, what's he telling him? So Jeff's right, and Vrabel has talked about this. Vrabel, I wasn't on the Zoom call with Mike Vrabel today. Mike, Titans media requested to speak with him, and he was good to do a Zoom session with the majority of us. It was during the radio show today, so I did not participate. But Vrabel also had a response about Jeffrey, how well he's playing, how he wishes that he had more time to coach him, and that they continue to have a relationship even though Mike Vrabel and Jeff Simmons are no longer on the same team. So it's cool. But to Jeff's point, it doesn't matter when the football game starts. And so how this goes on Sunday is going to be a legit fascination. I genuinely have no idea. I would love to be surprised by the Titans. Ann says Braves couldn't score 30 points for like 4 straight seasons. Run up the score. Okay, well, obviously that's not true. They had the highest scoring offense in the Titans era in 2020. They were excellent, and even in 2021, they were still decent. Now, how long was that streak? It was all of 23 for sure, and definitely that back half of 22. I don't think they eclipsed 30 points. So a season and a half is probably fair. 4 seasons is a bit dramatic. But yeah, I mean, but the thing is, and it's not him running up. I mean, he is the coach of the team, but it's the idea of Drake May. Drake May is the problem here. It's really Mike Vrabel is an advantage, and the Patriots now have that advantage, and you don't. But Drake May is the real reason why, if the Patriots come to town and whoop y'all's asses, it's not going to be Mike Vrabel's not playing in the game. Drake May is playing in the game. So, like I said, it would be the most obvious thing if the Titans just laid down and died, right? Like that would be the most likely outcome. And Jeff Simmons will fight his ass off, and Cam Ward won't be able to score any points because Mike McCoy can't come in here on a week's notice and just change everything about the way that this has gone. It's still a poor roster, but the Patriots aren't a good roster too. They just have a very high-level quarterback right now, and that sometimes can be the difference in between two teams. I would expect it would be I would take the Patriots to win by 10, even if it was 10-0, because the Titans can't score. I'm fascinated to see. Now, here is the fascination. I have no idea what this Titans offense is going to look like now that Brian Callahan's out of the picture. All I know that Bo Hardegree is still the play caller, so is it going to be that significantly different? I don't know. But I know that they have to play clean football. I know that they can't be heavily penalized. Vrabel's team is currently drawing a significant amount of penalties. There is some, as he likes to say, dumb shit to hurt the team type of moments there. Again, they are not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. But I am skeptical of their chances. I'm not going to rule them out entirely, talking about the Titans, but I know that this has the appearance of an overwhelming defeat. How they change the narrative, I suppose, is entirely up to them. We will see if they are capable of doing that, or if it's just going to be more of the same. That would be the worst case scenario for me, for you guys, is that he comes in here and dog walks you. That's the worst case scenario, because then you just, then there's nothing, there's no fight left. But if you show some spine against, famous tough guy, okay, then you've got something to work with, even if you don't win. But if you put up a fight, more of a fight than you have been, that means something. It means that your season's not over, even though you'd fall to 1-6 in that particular situation. Now, the news of the day here locally is that T'Vondre Sweat's window to return has started. So he has been designated to return. They have 21 days to activate him off of injured reserve. I don't know that he'll play specifically. Mike McCoy said he looked great out there today. There was some social media video. Obviously, we're not out there seeing the entirety of the practice. So I don't know how much Sweat did. All I know is that it's good to see him back out there. It's an improvement. And he had a funny line today in the locker room about the idea of he knows there's a bunch of one-on-ones waiting for him because Jeff is out of his mind right now and attracting the vast majority of attention. So we'll talk about matchup advantages for and against tomorrow. But man, it's a fascinating game. But it would be in everybody's best interest, at least here in Tennessee. Me, you, them, all of it, if they went out there and put their fists up and didn't lay down and die the way that everybody expects them to get their shit kicked in. We'll see. All right. So let's do a little rising and falling and get on out of here for the evening. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. By the way, Diana Rossini is on the radio show tomorrow. She will have some good Patriots insight. Obviously, many of you noticed that Diana doesn't cover the Titans anymore now that Mike Vrabel is no longer here. That is equal parts because the Tennessee Titans are not worth covering for the national media unless something like this week happens and they are just an abject failure at every turn and everybody's looking around at them like they're a science experiment, being like, what's going on there? Maybe I should actually take a look at some point in time. But Diana's on the radio show tomorrow, and Nate Washington is on the radio show tomorrow. That'll be really good. I am trying to bully Mike Vrabel into coming on the radio show. I did send many, many texts today in which he told me to, let me find the exact quote. F that, because I called him a jerk on his podcast, and apparently he's watching too many podcasts on Twitter this week, which, I mean, could you blame him for being a bit curious? But I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. I think that would be a fun interview, no matter how it goes. But I think that will be interesting if he actually does it. I think that would be very telling if he does it as well, and I think it would be informative. I think that Titans fans would. I mean, if for no other reason than sheer curiosity, like I think they would probably listen to that interview. So Diana tomorrow, Nate Washington tomorrow, Coach Mack and Brett Kern on Friday as of now. If anything changes and if my text barrage has any impact, probably not, but was worth trying. We will see how that goes, but Friday is probably my best shot at him. All right. Rising and falling. Whose stock rose? Whose stock fell this week in sports? Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Let me know in the comment section, and we will discuss at length together right after I remind you that the primetime program is presented. Oh, actually, wait. I want you to hear this Teddy Bruschi clip really quick from Get Up on ESPN, because I thought it was really funny. I thought it was really appropriate, the idea of Teddy Bruschi, former Patriot, former Mike Vrabel teammate, talking about the vindictive nature of his good friend and former colleague.
For those of you who don't know, Teddy Bruschi and Mike Vrabel are the best of friends from all your years playing together. They're going to play Tennessee this week. Is he the sort of guy who kind of holds on to a grudge and might take this a little personally?
Braves is still mad at me for the one time I picked against Tennessee when he was coaching there.
Okay. Titans, you have been warned. Here come the Mike Vrabel Patriots.
I mean, it's the truth. Here they come. What are you going to do about it? It's the question. Like, I don't know what they're going to do about it. I think I know how it's going to go, but can they do anything about it? We'll see. All right. Stock up, stock down. Whose stock rose? Whose stock fell? Rising and falling. We will do that momentarily. Quickly, though, TrueMap Fitness in the Gulch will help your stock rise, your fitness stock rise, your health stock rise. TrueMap Fitness is there to help you accomplish your fitness goals, no matter what your level of fitness is. Your first workout is free. As a Middle Tennessee resident, they are so confident in their programming that they know they can give you a workout free. In fact, there's a workout for charity. Any level of donation. Let me pull up the specific talking points here, if you will just bear with me. I meant to do that before the show, and I apologize. I forgot. Today's been a bit busy, but they are offering a workout for charity. I want to say it's for breast cancer research. It's definitely having to do with cancer research because we are in the month of October, obviously, and cancer awareness is something that is promoted during the month of October, specifically breast cancer awareness. Either way, right now they're taking any level of donation. So you could pay $1, donate $1 to cancer research, and go work out at TrueMap Fitness 9 a.m. on Saturday. It's a really cool cause, and you'll have a great time. It's a fun community. Worth Campbell does a great job, him and his staff. So go check them out at TrueMapFitness.com today, and also raise money for a good cause. It'll be cool. Okay, whose stock rose? Whose stock fell? Stock up, Mike Vrabel. Stock up also Jarvis Brownlee, which means, by nature of stock up Jarvis Brownlee, stock down Mike Borgonzi.
I tell you, I was surprised when the Titans traded Jarvis Brownlee Jr., second-year corner out of Louisville. And Jarvis Brownlee Jr. is playing like a guy who was surprised that the Titans traded away Jarvis Brownlee Jr. He was an outside guy mostly for the Titans, playing in the nickel in his first start in the slot for the Jets. And just with his hair on fire for 4 quarters. But taking 2 at the point of attack as a DB is one thing. Still get involved. This is his tackle. The physicality from Jarvis Brownlee Jr. was very fun to watch on Sunday morning. The Jets really...
So that is Ben Solak at ESPN breaking down film of Jarvis Brownlee Jr. I quote tweeted it and said, LOL. And Ben Solak responded to me and said, I'm so sorry, man. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I do know what to tell you. They did a stupid thing. They traded Jarvis Brownlee away for pennies. And yeah, the Jets suck and the Jets are awful, but like, come on. Just it makes less and less sense the further we get removed from it. And that like Mike Borgonzi, obviously we weren't going to ask him about it at the press conference where they got in front of us to talk about Brian Callahan's firing, because it just doesn't make any sense. But what are we doing? Brandon Casey says, but we have 9 rings, man. Yeah, I know. I told you. I told you and I told them what I think about the idea of resume flexing when you are running an organization that just doesn't win anything anymore, and all of your success has been from organizations past, but you've been here for 3 years and you don't win shit. So it's not a personal attack at Chad Brinker. I just thought it was a bit of a silly thing to do. I understand that there are ways for him to respond and say, we have a plan here. I promise we have a plan here. Just because our plan has been slightly derailed because the coach didn't take the kind of progress or the kind of steps forward that we hoped and frankly expected him to take, doesn't mean that the plan is completely negated. But like the resume flex, you've been here for 3 years. Like what has happened in those 3 years? My hair is crazy froey right now. I need a haircut before this football game on Sunday. So, Ben Hall says, Buck, who was the guy on the radio who said they nailed it with Callahan? Is he still employed with the Titans? Why, yes, in fact, he is. He is the president of your football team. His name is Burke Nihill. And it is the last time that Burke Nihill spoke publicly on football anything. It is also a pretty starch look at who's actually – I mean, Chad Brinker is in charge of football, yes, but Burke Nihill was heavily involved in football decisions and had no business being. And I'm sure he would disagree with that, and he's welcome to. And obviously, I've had many conversations, good and bad, with Burke Nihill about things that they have done and things that they are planning to do and all these different things. But not only does he work for your team, he is president of your team, president and CEO. His title is technically above Brinker, even though Brinker has the title of president too. Neither of them have done well. We will see if that changes. I don't know. Have a great rest of your night. Radio show tomorrow. Diana Rossini, Nate Washington. Going to be good. Going to be fun. We're going to have a great time. We're also going to talk about what Cam Ward said at practice today. That's lost in the Mike Vrabel thing. We'll talk more about the quarterbacks tomorrow. We'll do one more prime time tomorrow night before Thursday night football, and we'll have a great time doing it. Looking forward to having you guys tomorrow morning with us on 10 a.m. or at 10 a.m. on 104.5 The Zone.
There's a very low percentage